Hello, everyone, and happy day before Halloween. I am so excited to be here. It's Megan Morella, your positive parenting guide, here with our dentist, my son's dentist, Dr. Michelle Stafford of World of Smiles. We are in her teen pediatric practice out here in Barnes Road in Portland. Thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Stafford. We're going to be talking about sugar and Halloween and whole body health and positive parenting, and just share a few ideas and tools. Dr. Stafford, I was just wondering, what do you love? I love that you're in costume today. You dress up all week?
We do. The week before Halloween, we always dress up the whole week.
It's a different costume every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I wish I had my costume on, but I love that you're in costume. And yay! What do you love about being a pediatric dentist?
It's fun. I just love how much fun we can have dressing up and playing with the kids and just being silly. But also I feel like you can really make a difference if you can get kids into really good habits from an early age.
Totally true.
And my, I would say, overriding goal is to make it so kids do not have a fear of the dentist, because there's so many adults that have a fear of the dentist, and so it's always been my goal to make it fun. So dressing up is fun.
And that's what I love so much about your practice. You have totally accomplished that goal. This is such a fun place. It's kind of like going to almost like a museum community center when you come into your practice, and it's a total joy. So World of Smiles, you have a round the world theme. Yep. So each room, I wish we could show you all, but it's an amazing practice, and my son, he loves coming here. Yay. So yeah. So what do you think? I would love for you to just talk a little bit about the season. Halloween's tomorrow.
Yes.
And then we're segueing right into the holiday season, which there's so many joys. And we were talking before the video just about, your family celebrations. There's so much to celebrate about the season.
So much.
But it also seems like culturally sanctioned sugar binging.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts? What can we keep in mind as a parent during this holiday season?
Well, we're definitely starting off on what I call sugar season. Kind of starts from Halloween, and honestly, I feel like it goes until Valentine's a lot of times now. It just kind of keeps on going. There's a lot of sugar and candy, and it's hard. I think it's hard for parents to kind of find this balance. I have two small kids now that are 6 and 4, and we're in school, and I'm trying to navigate that world of keeping candy out of my kids' hands.
Yeah.
So I understand the challenge of it, and just trying to limit sugar without making your kid feel punished for not getting the other things their friends get. So I can tell you some of the things we do in my family and things I suggest for parents. Yeah. So I try to be realistic about things. My kids haven't really had any candy. I think they've had 1 or 2 pieces from one of the grandmas. It's always one of the grandmas. So what we do on Halloween, my kids do go trick-or-treating, but if you come to my house, you get a pack of gum, because I feel with xylitol, and it's like a little bit better of an option, and kids love it.
So cool. So, and it's still candy. It's not like stickers or...
The parents are always like, gum, that's exciting. I'm going to take that one. So I let them go trick-or-treating if that's what they choose to do, because it's fun and silly, and we love to dress up in my family, as you can tell. So after Halloween, they can actually trade all their candy. They leave it for the Switch Witch. Now I think she's probably a cousin of the Tooth Fairy. She comes in and she takes all the candy and leaves a really cool toy. Or money, depending on, her mood, I suppose. But in my house, after they go trick-or-treating, normally we don't eat late at night being 7, because my kids go to bed by 7:30. But after dinner, we don't usually get snacks. They can bring us the candy, and then they can have a muffin, because we actually cooked muffins over the weekend. We made blueberry muffins. So we try to do healthier treats. I mean, there's still a little sugar in muffins, but since we made them, I kind of can limit it a little bit too. Yeah. But then they don't feel like it's a punishment, because they're still getting something super special that they don't usually get.
Totally.
In my office too, we actually trade candy for toys. We do a candy exchange after Halloween. And I think most pediatric dentists in town do this now. So, if you don't come to us, you don't have to be a patient of record to bring in your candy. So bring your bags of candy and you trade for toys. We stock up on toys this time of year.
So awesome.
So officially especially the rest of this week, November 1st and next week, but also, I mean, quite honestly, I'll have parents come in like after Valentine's with a bag of candy and be like, "Can I trade?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course,
sure.
of course you can. Let's get that candy out of the hands of kids." So
great. So keep an eye out for that. For most pediatric dentists, at least in the Portland area, do that switch.
Yes.
And also, I've actually heard the baking of a special treat. I've heard that from some of the families I know whose kids have allergies as well. So that's an alternative. And also, giving gum or non-candy is also more inclusive to so many children who have allergies this day. Yeah.
And it's nice, I mean, even for trick-or-treaters, if you handed out stickers or little trinkety toys, and kids get so excited about toys. I mean,
they do.
Candy's kind of like, oh, you eat it and then, you know, it's done. But a toy you can play with and have fun with.
So from for our parents who have young children in early childhood, just really encouraging people that you can set up the holiday traditions that are most meaningful to you, and that there are so many alternatives aside from having candy and building our traditions around sugar. Because, you know, it is interesting because I always think it's the holiday seasons where sugar starts. So we're looking at October, then November, December. But you're saying through Valentine's Day, that's 4 months of sugar. So that's almost half of our year. And sugar, could you talk a little bit just about like whole body health? I know last time we were in the office, we just had this great conversation. And just about sugar and the effects on children's whole body. Just as sugar, it really is one of our most addictive substances and often children's first addictions. So
it is, and I feel like as a society we're not talking about it enough. And the fact that there's a lot of people that get sugar every single day. They get their candy or we're potty training with M&Ms and you know, there's so much sugar in our society. It's not just about the mouth, but of course oral health is very important to me, but it's about your full body. So with the increase of sugar, the increase of diabetes among our children is skyrocketing, which we really need to talk about. Obesity, which goes hand in hand with heart disease and high blood pressure, and just a lot of systemic body effects that sugar has on children and adults. And I feel like we're just not talking about it enough, and we sometimes get sidetracked about other health issues, but if we could just focus in on the sugar, I think it would really help decrease some of our overall problems health-wise in our society. And so it's not just about oral health, but of course that's important to me, right? Like cavities are on the rise with our children and adults and teenagers. But for me, it's more about talking about our overall health and, again, limiting it. And if you look at studies about how much sugar intake they had even 20 years ago or 50 years ago versus how much sugar intake today, I don't know the exact figures, but I know it's astounding. I've seen some amazing photos of like a mound of sugar, and this is how much one American eats in a year, and it's like as tall as we are. So it's really disturbing to see that. And I feel like it's a really easy fix, right? So even you go through the drive-thru at my bank and they're like, "Oh, do your kids want candy?" And I was like, "Do you guys forget every time that I'm a pediatric dentist?"
I know, I'm always getting at Trader Joe's because you find the beaver and you get candy. And I was like, candy. You know, in Portland they give out oranges.
So I don't get an orange. I know. Orange. Or for me personally, now that I have kids in school, really talking to the teachers and making sure we're getting the candy out of the school. Because that's something I'm passionate about and I want to help. And I'm like, I'll give stickers and toys and whatever I can do to keep the candy out of the kids' hands. And the principal told me, this is a no candy school. Then my son came home with candy and I was like, okay, we're going to have to talk about it.
It's really ingrained in our culture. And when we talk a lot about in my community, like the punishment and reward model. And how, you know, teachers, it's huge class size today, but if we're working with that punishment and reward model, you know, sugar it's one of the main ways to control children. So just part of that societal switch from working with children and based on solutions and mutual respect and problem solving. And then we don't need candy as much, you know,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like candy's an easy way, right? Like, here's your piece of candy, but then I mean, even with my kids, like I said, we made muffins over the weekend, and they got a muffin after dinner, and then we had a hard time with bedtime. Like, there's such a direct correlation with like sugar and how it impacts their body.
It is.
And because my kids don't get a lot of sugar, we really see it. I mean, they're like running around in circles, and I'm like, oh, well, there's the muffin effect.
Right there. And the increase in hyperactivity in addition to screen time. So sugar is one thing, you know, as you're listening today, if you want to think, I'm really big about making your Halloween plan and having that conversation with your kids before Halloween. And so you're not in the moment and trying to decide what your policy for Halloween is as a parent in the moment, which can cause stress for you as a parent and for your children. So think about what your plan is, have that conversation with your children. I did a blog post recently about utilizing curiosity questions. So what is our plan for Halloween? How many pieces of candy do you think you should eat? And then using that as a discussion point to come there to find your mutually agreeable solution, which in positive discipline, we talk a lot about mutually agreeable solutions. And believe it or not, they're usually much easier to find than we would think as parents. So Dr. Stafford, would you share what is the rate of projected for children with diabetes in the...
It's very high. I know we've talked about the diabetes. I should look up the exact number to show you, but I read one article that was staggering with this generation of kids that it's at least a third of the kids or even up higher, 40% or higher of this generation that's going to end up with diabetes. And diabetes is such a significant disease with so many other things that can happen within your body if you have diabetes. And it starts from a young age. If you train your body that you need sugar every day, then your body gets used to it. I'm still surprised and sugar's everywhere, right? It's not just candy. We can talk about candy because, you know, it's Halloween. Right. But I'm surprised when parents say, oh, after this we're going to go to Starbucks and get a Frappuccino. And I'm like, your kid's 5? Why are you getting a Frappuccino? My kids don't know what that is. We've never had it. But a Frappuccino without the caffeine, hopefully it's without the caffeine.
Right, that's a whole other topic.
It's just like a whole cup of sugar. I mean, that's all it is. So.
And in your office, you actually have the packages up with how many grams of sugar. And
yes, we do.
And I mean, yogurt, you know, juice, things that we maybe aren't thinking about reading the labels.
Yes.
Everything.
Gatorade is a big one. Energy drinks is huge. I mean, there's so many bad things about energy drinks, but even some of the flavored waters, people think, oh, you know, I'm drinking water. Right. But there's a few brands out there that have 1 teaspoon of sugar, which is a small amount, but if you're drinking that all day long and your mouth is getting, you know, hit with that sugar intake, but also your body is getting hit constantly with that sugar, and again, you're training your body to be like, oh, I need sweet foods. I need sweet foods all day long. I need that, rather than just plain water or, you know, flavored with like essential oils or something. It's a little something interesting. And
so really just to be empowered decision makers as parents, we know the effects of sugar. I know, like, I have to have 0 sugar. I'm not a moderator. Like, if I introduce it, then so, you know, just sticking to fruit and really reading my labels. But as parents, we have that power to instill lifelong healthy habits that are based when children don't have sugar, it's almost like they have a clean palate, and then their body naturally craves what they need. Yes. And once sugar really disrupts that cycle. And also it leads to a lot of whining and begging, which can be so annoying as a parent. So, you know, just using this holiday season as a springboard to thinking about sugar in your diet and instilling those lifelong habits, and that we are entering a health crisis. You know, we want to be fun and lighthearted with Halloween, but that it's pretty grave for our kids. We're entering a health crisis, and we want to do what we can to be proactive. So, And Dr. Stafford, are you taking new patients right now?
We are taking new patients. We do. So, yeah, we love the small kids all the way up. We actually just started a teen office as well. And so we're seeing teenagers here, and we have artwork here, made it a little more fun for our teenagers. But here's where we display a lot of that information. And every day I see parents that will walk up to it with their teenagers and be like, oh my gosh, do you see how much sugar is in this? Do you see how much is in that, or the acidity levels? So it's been really fun. I love having my teenagers. But yes, we take kids of all ages. And you don't have to be a patient, though, in order to bring in your candy. But if you're interested and you're like, I'm going to bring my candy and see what they're all about, we can give you a tour, and you can kind of meet some of us and
wonderful.
And you have extra prizes for being dressed up.
Oh yeah! And you have a practice here and then also in North Portland, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, wonderful. As we were talking and preparing this, we got a whole other host of topics too, and talking about teens and doing maybe like good brushing habits, and so stay tuned. Hopefully in 2019 we'll be able to have Dr. Stafford back. Have a wonderful holiday season, and think about how you can instill those beautiful traditions and joy in your family that are also healthy and body affirming. So have a great holiday, everyone, and thanks again,
fun.
Dr. Stafford.
Thank you so much,
okay.
Megan.